By popular demand, here is a My Froggy Stuff mashup to help some of our new besties find some of our favorite videos around a Fabsome theme. Today's theme is, can you guess? Harry Potter! I'm a little bit of a Harry Potter fan, you know, just a little. We had so many requests on YouTube Live that we just had to do a Harry Potter mashup. And we have almost an hour's worth of crafts. So to our new Fabsome besties, we hope you enjoy some of our favorite Harry Potter crafts. And to our longtime Fabsome besties, we hope you enjoy a walk down memory lane. I am going to make a wizard's trunk for a doll using a recycled tea box, leather string or suede lace, ribbon, scrapbook paper, buttons, beads or charms, extra paperboard, yarn, printables from our blog, items from previous crafts like how to make a doll wand, cauldron and candles, faux velvet, and glue. I start by turning the box over, draw a line going all the way around, carefully cut on the line drawn, and remember to always have adult supervision when working with sharp objects. Once the box has been cut, use glue to secure the sides, cover the outside of the box with scrapbook paper, cut recycled paperboard to fit inside the box, cover with scrapbook paper, glue them inside, adding strength to the box. Take some suede lace, place the top onto the box, carefully glue on the suede, starting at the edge of the lid, then going all the way around, down the back, being careful not to glue the box together. Continue all the way around and stop at the edge of the box. Repeat a few more times to attach the lid. Cut a small piece of ribbon, glue it to the lid and the box to keep the lid from falling over. Cut out the Frogwarts crest from our printable, glue it onto the lid, add a button or a charm to the front. I lightly painted a button with nail polish to give it an aged look for a lock on the trunk. And now we can start to fill it with fun wizard stuff, like our doll cauldron, a few candles, a wand, the complete guide to wands book, some loose parchment paper, and all of these can be found in previous videos. We'll list the link down below. For a few extra items, we take some small glitter jars, add a little bit of nail polish, add a few leaves from an artificial plant, and allow them to dry. And we filled a few jars with glitter and moss. Place a cork sticker on top to make a few ingredients, like mermaid scales, squid ink, and fairy dust. Take a piece of cardstock, cut a triangle, crumble the paper until it softens. Fold over and glue the edges to make a cone. Trim to make it even. Make small cuts around the bottom edge. Fold them up. Cut a circle out of cardstock. Crumble it up. Cut a circle out of the middle. Place the circle over the cone and glue it in place. Pinch and wrinkle the cone using glue to hold it in place to make a magical hat. Cut a semicircle of faux velvet. Place a doll in the center. Make a mark at the shoulders. Cut out 2 holes for a simple robe. Cut a rectangle that can fit around the doll's head. With the good side facing up, fold it in half. Sew a line across the corner using a sewing machine or a needle and thread. Trim off the excess, turn it right side out, take the flat edge at the bottom, open it up, and you see the seam right there in the middle. Line the seam up with the back of the neck on the robe. Use pins to hold it in place, going all the way around the collar. Carefully remove the doll and sew it. And I'm just going through and over close to the edge to make a hood. Fold over another rectangle of fabric. Use chalk to draw a slanted line. Measure to the doll's arm and trim where needed. Sew on the line drawn. Trim off the excess. Flip it right side out. Lay out the robe so the inside is facing up. Take the small end of the sleeve, place it behind one of the arm cutouts, line up the edges, then carefully stitch them together to make a sleeve. Repeat on the other side to make robes. Take at least 6 strands of yarn, tie a knot at one end, tape it onto a surface, use the yarn to make a friendship bracelet, to make a scarf. Add a copy of your doll's favorite book, and you're done.
Happy crafting!
Going to make a custom doll inspired by Harry Potter. We considered using Ken from Barbie's Rockin' Royals because currently he's easy to find, has a white collared shirt that is not attached to the jacket, and we could easily paint his hair darker. However, we would like a doll with a little more articulation. Prince Eric from the Disney store also has a white shirt, dark hair, arms that can bend at the elbow, and bend and snap knees. But I think we need someone that looks a little more serious. So we are going to use Peeta from the Hunger Games. He is fully articulated and was found at the bottom of Little Froggy's toy box. So with her permission, he's getting a makeover. I start by removing his hair, then reroot his hair using hair from dollyhair.com, add glue, and allow it to dry. Using fabric, I cut 2 rectangles, wrap one around the doll's leg, pinch and hold the fabric, then make a mark for the inseam. Repeat on the back, place the other rectangle of fabric on top, then press down to transfer the pattern. Trim off the excess, leaving a little for a seam allowance. Lay them good side to good side, and sew along the front curve, right over the chalk. Open it up, then hem the bottom. Sew a zigzag along the top edge to stop the fabric from fraying. Place elastic near the edge, fold over the top, sew a straight line closing the elastic inside. Fold it over so the good side is on the inside, pull the elastic so it fits the doll's waist, sew along the curve, trim off the excess, open the bottom up, then fold it in half matching up the ends. Sew a straight line from one end to the other, try it on the doll inside out, then make adjustments to make it more fitting. Sew on the lines marked, trim off the excess, flip them inside out. We ironed a crease down the front to make a pair of pants. Cut 2 rectangles of white fabric, fold it in half, place the doll on the fold, make a mark at the shoulders, under the arms, and down the side. Continue sketching half of the shirt. Hold it up in front of the light to sketch the other side. We made the pattern a little larger than the doll's body so that it can be cut down the center. But first, we place it on the other rectangle of fabric, then press down to transfer the chalk. We modify this pattern slightly by raising the neckline. Fold them in half, cut down the center, trim off the excess, leaving a little for a seam allowance. Take the panels for the front and lay them good side to good side. Sew a straight line going down, stopping about 1 inch from the bottom. Open it up and sew down the seam on both sides. Line up the back panels at the shoulders, sew across connecting them. Open it up and lay it onto a piece of white fabric, then press down to transfer the chalk. Remove the shirt, then draw 2 lines to extend it on the sides. Cut it out, leaving a seam allowance. Fold over and hem the bottom. Turn the shirt over. With good side to good side, line up the center of the curves. Sew them together using the chalk line as a guide. For the sleeves, Cut 2 strips of fabric, cut one end at an angle, fold over and hem the top, then fold over and hem the edge. Repeat in reverse for the other side. With the good side of the shirt and the good side of the collar facing up, line up the top edge from the front of the shirt to the back. Sew it on following the blue line on the other side. Flip the collar up, sew a straight line under the seam. Fold it back over to make the collar. Sew a zigzag stitch along the back. Sew on Velcro. Use the Velcro to close the back. Turn it inside out. Sew from the sleeve to the bottom. Make small cuts under the arms to release the tension. Fold over and hem the bottom edge. Brush away or hand wash the shirt to remove the chalk. And a little bit of the chalk did remain, so you might want to use it lightly or use tailor's chalk. Use ribbon to make a tie. Use fabric glue to glue it under the collar. Then trimmed off the excess. Cut a wide rectangle out of t-shirt material. Fold it in half so the good side is on the inside. Fold it in half again to find the center. Make a crease. Cut a small rounded curve. Open it. Make a small cut on the crease between the layers. Cut away the rest up to the top to make a V-neck. Cut a strip of fabric. Sew it. Then flip it over the edge. Use pins to secure it. Sew along the seam to make the collar. Flip it inside out. Place the doll on top. Mark around the arm and down the side. Trim off the excess, leaving a seam allowance. Open and flip it over. Fold over a rectangle of fabric. Line up the raw edges and sew it to the end of the sleeves. Gently pulling the fabric as I sew, giving it a slight gather and retaining some stretch. Repeat on all sides. Fold it in half, lining up the edges. Sew on the line drawn. Trim off the excess. Turn it right side out to make his sweater. I even painted a few stripes onto his tie. Using hot water and conditioner, we style and cut the hair. I repaint his eyes green. Paint on the scar. Glue 2 cylinders onto a popsicle stick, and I'm just using cut pieces of a glue stick. Starting in the middle, wrap the wire around the cylinders, bend the ends up to make glasses. We put on a pair of black Ken shoes to make an outfit inspired by Harry Potter's school uniform. To make robes, I follow the instructions similar to our doll lab coat video by placing the doll on a folded over piece of fabric. Draw sleeves, then out to the sides. Make a small circle at the neck, open it up to complete the circle. Draw a straight line going down, lay a strip of fabric on top, and press down to transfer the chalk. Then flip it over, making sure to match up the lines. Sew around the line, cut between the lines sewn, turn it over the edge, and I chose to sew it in place. I transfer the pattern to this side, fold over the fabric, pressing down to transfer. Place burgundy fabric under the sleeve and sew along the end. Trim off the excess and flip it over the side. Fold it in half so the good side is on the inside. Sew along the lines, trim off the excess, hem the bottom, turn it right side out, cut 2 house shapes out of fabric, stack, sew along the sides and the bottom, turn it inside out, fold in half, then sew along the top edge, turn it inside out, sew it to the top of the collar with the seam facing the back, stitch a small crest on front to make his school robe. Add a wand from a previous video, and you're done.
Happy crafting!
Here is a quick craft. I am going to make a doll-sized book inspired by the new Harry Potter, using printables from our blog, recycled paperboard, and glue. I start by printing off the free printables from myfroggystuff.blogspot.com. We have playfully named our book Perry Hopper. It comes in 2 sizes, large and small. Then I print the appropriate size pages. Cut out the book cover, making sure to leave the tabs. And I actually like to cut them at an angle as opposed to the printed square. Cut out the templates, carefully cut out the pages, keeping them attached. When cutting it out, I try to trim off as much of the black line as possible. And I'll be able to trim some of the black lines in the center later. Take the templates, trace them onto paperboard, cut them out, so you have 2 large rectangles for the front and back of the book, and 1 for the spine. Take the book cover and fold on the lines, then turn it over, place the paperboard inside the creases, and I see that I need a little more space between the spine and the sides, so I trim the spine until I get the amount of space that I need. Use a glue stick to glue them in place, fold over and glue down the tabs, then fold over and crease the spine. Begin folding the pages accordion style on the line. When I get to the end, I glue on the next row of pages. Once they've all been connected, use glue on the other side to stick them together to make double-sided pages. Carefully trim off the black line from the edge of the page, glue it into the cover, gluing the first and last pages onto the sides. Then press and hold until it dries. I can also use a large owl clip to hold it in place. For an 18-inch doll, I needed more pages, so I printed more copies of page 3 until it is the desired thickness. Then continue just as before to complete our miniature books. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
Going to make wands for a doll using wood, a nail file, washable markers, water, and clear nail polish. To make a simple wand, we take a rounded toothpick with detailing on the end. Using a nail file, we gently sand the end to remove the sharp point. Then sand the sides so that it gradually gets smaller at one end. Color a plastic surface with a washable marker, add a few drops of water, brush it onto the toothpick to stain it. To make it darker, I can even color right onto the wood. Use different markers to make the wands different colors. Seal it by lightly brushing it with nail polish or clear drying glue to make doll-sized wands. We can make wands using popsicle sticks or craft sticks. On a popsicle stick or a skinny stick, I sketch out a design for the wand and the handle. Then begin sanding according to the lines drawn. On this wand, we sanded some diagonal lines to give the look of a unicorn's horn. We can stain them just as before to make new wands for our collection. Looking for a more natural wand? We can also take a stick from the garden, peel away some of the bark, sand it just as before, stain, and seal it to make a wand similar to those in Harry Potter. If I feel up for a challenge and have a larger stick, I can use the same technique to make life-size versions that look comparable to the ones sold in stores. For something extra, on a piece of recycled paperboard, draw a rectangle around the wand, add tabs out to the sides, cut it out and make small cuts on the ends, fold on the lines drawn, glue the tabs in place, trace it onto paperboard to make another that is slightly larger, cover with paper, add a piece of felt to the inside to make a box to hold the wand. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
In Tiana's restaurant, we briefly went over how to make a staircase. And we thought it would be fun to take a little more time to show how we make stairs for the dollhouse. Using cardboard, paper, wooden dowels or bamboo skewers, a ruler, and glue. I start by taking a large piece of cardboard, which is the height of the first floor. And then I take my ruler. The ruler is super important because this is going to be the rise and run of the stairs. This ruler is about 1.25 inches thick, a little less. That's a good height for the dolls, especially since now they have ankles. If your doll can't bend their knee that high, then you would want to go with something a little shorter. Like maybe a nail file for the rise. A nail file is about 3/4 inch. So that wouldn't be a lot for them to stand on, but we could always use the nail file for the rise and then use the ruler for the run. Okay, so once I have my measurement picked out, it is time to draw the grid. So the lines going this way will be for the rise, like the height of the stair. So if you need to have a shorter stair, this is when you would use the nail file. And you would just draw a line, then move it to that last line and draw another one, and you just continue all the way up the cardboard, or you could use the ruler. It's really up to you. I'm going to use the nail file. Then it's time for the run. Now that the grid is complete, I am going to follow a zigzag line going all the way down. I'm using a red marker to make the lines stand out. Yeah, so this is a long staircase, and I'm thinking I want to make it movable, so I'm going to redraw my line and leave a little space at the top for a landing. That way I can reposition the staircase depending on how I want the layout of the room to be. I'm going to move the whole line over to the 4th block. Carefully cut on the line drawn to cut out the stairs. So now we have 2 pieces, and this piece, when flipped over, should match this one. I just need to line up the edges, and there we go. They match pretty well, and if I have a couple of pieces that are a little higher than the other, I'll just trim them down to match. So now we have 2 sides of a very long staircase. So all we have to do now is to wrap everything in paper and then glue on the boards to connect the stairs. I use a ruler to draw lines for the boards, carefully cut them out. I cut some of the boards for the rise, and I made these about 7 inches. Then for the run, I made them 7.5 inches so that they'll rest on top of the cardboard and have a little bit hanging over on the sides. And I cut a larger one for the top. So these stairs are going to be pretty wide. They're 7 inches across. And since it's in a dollhouse, I just have to use the space under the stairs. Space is a precious commodity in a dollhouse, so I just have to try to utilize every little inch that I can. So we're gonna cut out an opening, probably go at a diagonal here to get access to the space that's going to be inside there. And this part is completely optional. I can't help myself. So here we go. I'm placing the ruler at an angle at the end point of all the stairs, and I'm gonna just draw a line on the back side. I want to make sure that the wall can still support the stairs, so I left a wide border all the way around it. Carefully cut it out to remove the center. Begin covering everything with paper. I often use scrapbook paper because it gives you lots of textures and different colors. However, sometimes for large projects, this can get a little pricey. So sometimes I will use a heavyweight wrapping paper. This actually has the exact same feel as scrapbook paper, it just comes in a roll. I find it at the craft store and it usually costs around $3 to $7, but you get a lot. And this is really good when you're covering large surfaces so you don't end up with a lot of seams down the middle, because look, this whole piece will cover the entire wall, and that's cool. And I want my walls to be white, so I'm going to use the back side of the paper. Apply some glue, then lay down the paper. On the other side, make small cuts at all of the corners so they can be folded over the edge. And the same thing goes for the center. I cover the opposite side of the other stair so both sides match. And I cover the inside with a wood grain scrapbook paper, since it's now visible because I cut out a section of the wall. I also had to cut and cover more cardboard. I need a piece to go on the bottom, and this is going to be between the two walls for the stairs. Then I needed another one to go on the side, and a little one to go at this end. I am going to glue all of these on the inside of the cutout wall. First, I glue on the side wall. I'm going to line it right up to the edge. Then the one that goes on the bottom. And finally, the other side. This created a little nook so that when we turn it around and glue it to the other wall, we'll have a little seating area or little room under the stairs. But before I glue on the other side, I have to cover all of the rises for the stairs. This might take a while. To neatly cover the cardboard, I have the good side facing down, and I apply some glue, and I'm very generous with the glue. Place the board in the middle, quickly turn it over and smooth out the other side. Cut tabs on all of the sides, and they should look like little trapezoids. Apply glue to the tabs and fold them over and glue into place. Continue on all four sides to finish the board. And repeat. Yeah, this might take me a while, but thanks to movie magic, we're done. I begin gluing them onto the inside edge, glue on the other side, cover the rest of the boards. I'm gonna cover these in a contrasting color, then glue them on top. I covered the cardboard for the top with black and white, then glued it in place. So now we have the stairs, our little nook. I haven't quite decided yet what to put in here. On this back wall, we have like a little recessed area. It's kind of like a tray. So I covered some thin strips of cardboard and I'm going to glue them in to make a bookshelf. And the other side is a large blank wall. Take some bamboo skewers or wooden dowels, cut them to the waist of the doll, paint them, glue them onto the stairs. I cut and cover a long piece of cardboard to glue on as the banister, completing our staircase to nowhere. So I guess we'll eventually have to build an upstairs scene, but for right now, the dolls can just walk up the stairs and pretend like they're going to the second floor. Since the staircase can be moved, we can use it as an addition to the Sophie and Chloe house, because on the other side of the wall, we still have a large open space. And all we gotta do is put our staircase against the wall, and it looks like they can go upstairs. On this wall, maybe we can add some pictures, perhaps a chair, make a little seating area. Oh yeah, the nook. We just turn this around, add some pillows, add some books and things onto the shelves to make a quiet place for the dolls to enjoy. Or a bedroom for Harry Potter. Come on, I know you were thinking it.
And you're done.
Happy crafting!
The Disney Store's Belle from the live-action movie Beauty and the Beast, played by the lovely Emma Watson. In earlier videos, we gave her a casual look, and now we're going to give her a Hermione Granger-inspired look from the Harry Potter series. In the face, she already looks like Hermione because they're played by the same actress. And in our Made to Move Belle video, we simplified her makeup. So let's start with her hair, since that needs to dry overnight. In the movies, Hermione's hair is usually pretty windblown, so there's really not a whole lot that we need to do to it. However, I want to add a little more curl. So, welcome to Lemonlock's Doll Salon. Please, have a seat. Uh-oh, this isn't good. Now hold very still. No, Lemon, we don't need to cut her hair today. We're just going to curl it. Aw, man. So I part and divide the hair into sections, spray with water, comb it out. I don't have any rollers, so I'm using straws and pipe cleaners. Cut the straws into smaller pieces, take a section of hair, begin rolling the hair around the straw. Push the pipe cleaner through the straw, bend it over and twist the ends of the pipe cleaner, then wrap the loose ends around the hair to keep it secure. Repeat until the whole head has been rolled. Then I give the doll a hot water rinse, and be sure to always have adult supervision when working with hot objects. I place the doll's head into hot water, hold for a few seconds, then take her out. Repeat a few times, then remove the doll from the water. Remove the excess water gently using a towel and allow it to dry overnight. Begin removing the pipe cleaners. Then remove the straw to see the curls. And remember, Hermione's hair is not supposed to be perfect, so it's okay if the curls are not perfect. I really just wanted to remove a lot of the factory styling. I continue to take out our homemade curlers. Use my hands to rake through the curls, reshape them using water as needed, to create a softened look. Not bad and not perfect, which is what we were going for. Now I am going to make a school uniform using fabric, needle and thread, and a sewing machine. I start by cutting a rectangle of white fabric. This is just a thin white cotton fabric. Fold it in half. On the fold, cut an opening for the neck, lay it flat, and cut straight up the center, stopping at the opening. To make the outfit, I'm using a doll with a similar body type, so I do not mess up her hair. Place the white fabric on the doll, overlapping it in the back. Use pins to hold it in place. Pin the fabric around the doll's sides. Using a pencil, I mark where to sew I make a mark on the other side where to match the lines, remove it from the doll, match up the lines and pin it, and it is starting to look like a sleeveless shirt. Trim around the shoulders, leaving a seam allowance, fold it over, sew a straight line around the edge. After sewing both arms, sew a straight line up the sides, trim off the excess, cut 2 rectangles of fabric, fold them over, and sew across one end. Turn them inside out. Here is the sewn edge and the folded edge. I place the folded rectangle on the center of the neck opening, sew a straight line attaching it all the way around until you reach the back. Trim off the excess, cut a strip of Velcro in half, pull the sides apart, turn the shirt inside out, fold over the collar, turn it over to the back, sew the Velcro onto the open sides, place it on the doll inside out to make adjustments, cut a long rectangle of a gray fabric, fold over and hem the bottom edge, fold and make pleats, turn the top right side out and place it on the doll, find the waist and sketch a line right underneath. Remove it from the doll, take the gray pleated material, place it on the top, good side to good side, lining it up at the line marked. Use pins to hold it in place, sew a straight line, remove the pins, flip the fabric over, sew a straight stitch along the top. With the good side facing up, fold the skirt in half, leaving enough space for the doll to fit through. Sew up the 2 ends of the skirt. To make a shirt with a pleated skirt, cut a piece of ribbon, fold it over, sew it right under the fold onto the top of the shirt, trim the bottom to look like a tie, paint on stripes, cut a rectangle of gray fabric. This is a knit t-shirt material. Fold it in half with the good side on the inside. Place the doll in the center of the fabric, trace around it, making the shape of a long sleeve shirt. Cut around it, leaving a seam allowance. Cut 2 rectangles, fold them in half so the good side is on the outside. Open the sleeves, take the folded rectangle and line up the raw edges. Sew a straight line to make cuffs on the sleeves. Fold it over again, draw a tear shape at the top, cut out the center, leaving a small seam allowance. Fold over and hem around the edge. It should be large enough to fit over the doll's head. Fold it so the good side is on the inside. Sew down the sides, trim off the excess, turn it right side out, cut a long rectangle of fabric, fold in half, line up the raw edges with the bottom of the shirt, sew it in place using a back stitch. After sewing it all the way around, flip it over to make a gray V-neck sweater. Place it on the doll feet first to make her school uniform. We make a robe from our custom Harry Potter video and a wand from one of our previous videos to make our own custom Hermione Granger.
And you're done.
Happy crafting!
we have wands, our dolls are going to need a wand shop. However, a wand shop may not be a store our dolls visit every day, so we need to make something that will be easy to store when not in use. So I am going to make a wand shop for a doll that is a folding doll set using cardboard, printables from our blog, and glue. I start by cutting a piece of cardboard. Using a ruler, I fold it, making 2 walls and allowing it to stand. However, this hard edge will prevent it from laying flat for storage. So we carefully score along the back fold, making sure not to go all the way through. And always have adult supervision when handling sharp objects. Now the cardboard can easily lay flat. Cover the inside of the cardboard with printables to look like shelves stocked full of wands. Glue printables together, overlapping when needed, to make doors and baseboards. Cover the front to look like the outside of the store. I cover the edge with a strip of paper, and covering it while the cardboard is folded will allow it to close without tearing the paper, and give the front of the shop a clean look. We use printables to give the store a name and complete the storefront. Now let's add some detail to the inside. Cover small rectangles of cardboard with printables, glue them together to make a counter. Cut out our printable book cover and pages. Fold over the edges of the book cover right before the lines. Glue cut pieces of paperboard into the space between the folds. Glue down the folded paper. Fold over and glue the pages together. Glue the pages into the book cover. Close it and pinch the sides. Open it back up and slightly bend the center pages. To make books to go on the counter, cut a Q-tip, glue on beads, paint it, add a clear acrylic bead on top for a lamp. Cut and cover strips of cardboard, glue them together to make a ladder to reach the top shelves. I can add a wood printable to the wall to make an area to post notes and papers. Add a few loose papers to the table, wands, and a toy owl to finish the look. And when playtime is over, we place everything inside the counter, fold down the set, then put it away until next time.
And you're done.
Happy crafting!
Thank you for joining us for this My Froggy Stuff mashup, and let us know what mashup you would like to see in the comments down below. Join us for new vids every day, like Unbox Daily, The Darby Show, 360 Tours, DIY Crafts, and YouTube Live. Follow us on Instagram at My Froggy Stuff and The Frog Vlog, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
There's a glow about you.